I'm looking forward to see if maybe we can get a Thomas HD off spawn again and have them go up against Queasy Vino in the late game, but they're going to have to get off the start for that.
Yeah, I think we'd all love to see that. But what we're excited to see here as well is currently how the leaderboard stands as well. Let's take a look at this. The standings right now, and there they are atop the rest of the pack here in Grand Finals after the game from before here. Queasy and Vino with 280 points, 20 eliminations, 200 placement points. I mean, they are way out in front here, Taco.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, having 2 Victory Royales is really starting to become more of a separating factor. Those eliminations might be worth 4 points a pop, but if you can just keep collecting more and more Game 1 wins, there's only so much you can do. And Queasy and Veno, they just seem unstoppable.
They do, but let's take a look at the number 2 on the leaderboard. Blacha and Mixin at 246 points. This duo is not someone you want to sleep on. Mixin here, you can see 4 eliminations already, bumping it up to 5 on Seti. They were looking unstoppable in this match. The synergy, the chemistry, they were playing together. And although it did ultimately end with the Veno 1 versus 2, at least they got that second place and a good amount of eliminations that bumped them up to that second place spot on the leaderboard.
They're basically just making do with what they've got because we can see their mats running incredibly low, forced to kind of take shelter underneath some of those low layers that have already been established from before. But I think where it really starts for this duo is that they've actually been slightly surprise contested over at Meadow Mansion. It's been Mikkel and Monet that have been forced off of their original drop spot because of Vaniac and Karmi. And so seeing Blacha and Mixin find that success, I think, stems back to the fact they've got their damage early.
Yeah, they really have. They've bumped up 3 points to 3 positions now into second. Let's look at the rest of the leaderboard here as well. We can see now as well, Cammy and Seti, there they are, sat in 7th position right now. 8 eliminations, 170 placements. They are putting themselves in contention. They're managing to stay in there. May not have a victory royale just yet, Takata, but they're managing to get in there, at least put themselves up for consideration when it comes to Grand Finals and the Action Champions.
Right, it's not a bad place to be in, right? Being in the top 10, being in the 7th place spot, they're kind of one big game away from bumping themselves up to that top 3 or even, second, first place on the leaderboard. We saw what Thomas HD and Malabuko were capable of when they got a big, impactful match. So if Cammy and Seti can keep up the consistency and then get one big game, they'll make their way up that leaderboard.
I mean, I think Seti and Cammy are probably the embodiment of slow and steady wins the race because how many times have we seen them in this position where they're not necessarily in that top 5 just yet, but it only takes 1 or 2 games to actually catapult yourself into that position, and it's proven already by how far they've climbed as is.
It really is. It's exciting. It's 4 games down, 2 to go today. But one thing we often talk about here on the show is Storm Surge. For newer players as well, they want to get to know exactly what's going on here. But Storm Surge, look at this. I love the lights have changed like a superhero. Full control right now. Storm Surge, a massive factor in this. And for those who might be wanting to know more about it, how has it been affecting Grand Finals thus far, Takata?
Yeah, so let's take a look here. We're on the southeast side of the map by Mega City, and if you look at the left side of this zone, that's going to be the congested side, and that's exactly where Vaniac and Karmi positioned themselves, but on a hill, so they're elevated enough to see all those duos that are rotating in through the POIs to the congested side of this zone, where the contrary dead side by Naughty Nets and Kajutsu Crossing and doesn't have a lot of people. Now they have a lot of options from all these players, all these duos rotating in to get that damage.
And what I really love about this from Vaniac and Karmi is that this is key adaptability here, something that you kind of expect from a duo that's consistently made it into Grand Finals 10 times combined, because Vaniac, Karmi, they used to be able to depend on Mikkel and Monet at their original drop spot south of Frenzy Fields, but since they pushed off Mikkel and Monet from trying to directly 50-50 them there, this is their adaptation by choosing to take sites instead towards that congestion over by Mega City. Granted, it didn't pan out for them. They definitely had their struggles, but it's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, but I mean, they got a good job done, right?
They did a great job done. I mean, I think Storm Surge, having to not think about it when you get those tags are so pivotal as well. I mean, everything's to play for with 2 games left today and a whole day tomorrow as well. We are going into our next game very shortly. Who will top the leaderboard by the end of the day? 2 games left to find out what's going to happen next, but I feel another storm brewing right now. I can feel it in the air. It's time to jump into game number 5.
The penultimate game of the day is here. A last opportunity for a lot of these teams to start to set the precedent as we head into the back end of the games, right? Because yes, today's games are starting to wrap up, Shayo, but still plenty more Fortnite to be played.
6 more games on day number 2, and in EU, we've seen the biggest changes there. You can be first place and then dwindle all the way into irrelevancy only on this region.
It's mad. Some of the things we're seeing from these teams, right? The one thing I will say is that, again, if Malabuko and Thomas can start to get their way back into this one, how far can they rise in the standings, right? That will be the question. Queasy and Vino's dominance, I think, was inevitable in today's games. The question is, are there going to be more hurdles thrown at them? There
I went back to lobby, so. What? Wait. Yeah. Bro, what were you doing? Bro, you were so lost. Find one from two. Oh, this fat Niger. Let's put Nigeria up. I had no idea what was happening. Watch out! I am not laggy. You mean FPS? You mean FPS?